Okay, so I had this really hilarious, like, image come to my mind, so I'm gonna go ahead and share it with you guys. It's, I started after a while to view gender as these two cities. You've got female city and you've got male city. And both the cities are huge, you know, they're expansive. Like, Male City has this part that's full of cars, and they've also got this part that's full of books, and you've got, like, the gay quarter, and you've got, you know, NASCAR, and you've got the guys who, the metrosexual area, or the guys who like to take good care of their bodies, and they're huge, you know, they're expansive. There's lots of different male and female people who live in either of these cities. They've got these giant walls around the outside, and outside of these cities and all around them is this giant wilderness of gender questioning. Giant wilderness of gender. And out in this jungle, there are all of these creatures called self-doubt that want to, like, pounce on and devour anything that travels outside of those cities. And somewhere, like, lurking way out there in the darkness, like, waiting to swoop in on you if you fall asleep along the way, is this demon of identity crisis. And between these two cities is this little pathway. It's kind of overgrown. It was never paved. It's not really, doesn't have signs along the way or anything. You know, there's a couple of way stations. There's like the hormone way station, and there's the surgery way station, and there's like the event somewhere in there of coming out or moving. And you know, there's like sticks and crap growing over parts of the path. There's these chunks that have been washed out in rainstorms, and it's kind of a dangerous path. You kind of have to watch your step real carefully as you're going along, you know. And if you're standing on the walls of these cities, you can't really see the path because these trees have grown over the top, and maybe once in a while, like, lightning strikes and you can see through the hole, and eventually it just kind of grows over. And most of the people in these cities don't really think about this pathway that goes between the two of them. And along the outside of these walls, at the ends of the path, are these little shanty towns. There are some people who, like, choose to live in those shanty towns. You know, you've got a lot of the androgynes, you've got some of the poor souls who just never quite pass. You know, the shanty town outside of Female City is a little bit bigger than the one outside of Male City. The one outside of Male City also has a whole bunch of people that frequently get called queers and fags who get tossed out, but there are these shanty towns, you know, and then there's the cities, and there's a pathway, the way stations on the pathway, and, you know, if you're trans, you start off in Male City, and you know that you're supposed to be female. Like, you swear to God, somebody fucked up, and you're really supposed to be a female. So you go ahead, you leave the city, and you travel along this pathway, and da-da-da-da-da. It's maybe you slip, maybe you get attacked once or twice by those creatures of self-doubt along the way, and some people get lost along the way. Some people slip off the edges of the path and are never seen again, and you know, others, most of us, eventually do either turn back and go exist unhappily in the city we started in, or make it to that other city. That person who started off in Male City makes it to Female City. Hopefully they don't get stuck in that shanty town, but they make it inside. You know, they've reached that goal. They're happy. They're content. They found somewhere to live where everybody knows what they are. They're happy with it. They're content. They're gonna go out there and live life, and they're in those walls. They're protected from all those creatures and demons on the outside. There are others of us for whom that pathway isn't quite so clear. You know, there are some of us who are genderqueer, who are, like, walking along that path and will kind of, like, stand there in front of one of those way stations, that surgery way station or that hormone way station, and we'll wonder, we'll think, are we gonna, like, go through this way station? Are we gonna, like, try and skirt around it? Like, are we gonna jump? Are we gonna turn around back and think about it and wander back up again later? Like, for the genderqueer, this pathway isn't... This pathway's a little bit more treacherous, you know? There's no maps, you know? There's no compass to just point and follow. You know, there's no, like, demon begone spray to keep all of those nasty creatures that want to eat you along the way at bay, and there's no guarantee that when you make it to that other city, you're not going to be so dirty and scratched up and starved and, like, sticks jammed in your hair and stuff that people aren't gonna mistake you for one of those demons and try and, like, lance you down with javelins made out of peer pressure and social norms and stuff, because they're afraid those demons are gonna make it in the city and make them question, you know. A lot of those people, for those of us who can't or choose not to fit in really well, these people are gonna mistake us for those demons. They don't want to question who they are. That's inconvenient. That interferes with their lives, you know. So they're just gonna try and shank us on the way in. You know, you have to watch out for the, you know, it's not just the things along the path. They're dangerous. It can be dangerous once you get into that city if you don't fit in well. So those of us who don't want to live in either city, those of us who just aren't going to be happy, who aren't going to be able to make it in either one of those cities, it's dangerous. It's a really scary thought that you're going to end up either wandering back and forth or just kind of camped somewhere along the side of the path for the rest of your life. It's kind of scary, but for some people like me, it's worth it. If you are going to be an adventurer and you're going to travel to places where other people haven't been yet, there's going to be some dangerous shit there. You're going to have to learn to watch yourself, and you're going to have to learn how to survive in that wilderness, and I know it's worth it for me. And I really hope that the rest of you guys who have chosen or been forced along this pathway, that it's worth it for you too. You know, it's scary, but so long as you can look at it as an adventure, it's worth it, you know? If you really look at it as an adventure, then you have the means to stay sane. You can maybe even have some fun while you're out there.